Alright, Theta Gang, let's learn about put options. What are put options? A put option is an option to sell an asset at an agreed upon price on or before a particular date. The buyer of the put option has the right but not the obligation to sell. The seller of the put option has the obligation to buy. Now I have a little illustration here to help show how a put option works. If you haven't watched it yet, go check out the call option video that we have. It goes very detailed in call options, and if you watch that video, this example will look familiar to you, but it can work both ways for calls and puts. So in our scenario here, we have Bob and Joe. Bob is the owner of, or he has this house valued at $100,000. And he doesn't exactly want to sell it yet, so he approaches Joe with a deal or an option contract. So Bob goes to Joe and says that if Joe will commit to buying this house from him for $100,000 at the end of 3 months, that Bob will give him $5,000 for that commitment, and Bob has the option to back out at the end of the contract if he so chooses. So it's important to note that when you're talking about buying and selling options, that it's not who is buying or selling the stock or the house in this situation. It's who is buying or selling the contract. So whoever is paying the premium, that is who is buying the contract. Whoever is receiving the premium, that is who is selling the contract. Now there are a few ways. There's a few ways that this can. Now there are a few ways that this can play out. The home value can increase. Let's say it goes to $120,000. In this situation, Bob would not want to execute on the contracts. He wouldn't want to sell his $120,000 house for $100,000, because that's a net $20,000. He would rather just walk away from the $5,000 that he paid Joe. The other scenario is that the home value decreases. Let's say it goes to 80 grand. In this situation, he would want to exercise the option. He would have the $80,000 house, sell it to Joe for $100,000, which is a $20,000 gap, minus the $5,000 premium he already paid to Joe, and he would net 15 grand. The last situation is that the home value stays the same, in which case you would not execute the option. It would really be pointless too, because you could buy or sell the house from anyone at $100,000, because that's what the current value of it is. Now let's see what put options look like on an actual trading platform. I have Robinhood open right now, but it should look similar on all the trading platforms. I picked Tupperware just as an example stock. It's been pretty volatile lately, so I thought this would be a good one to look at. I just put my expiration date for this Friday, so in 3 days. Normally you want to go a little further out, but this will work for example purposes. So if you're going to buy a put, you're betting on the price to go down, as you saw on our house example we just did. So if you look at, let's say, a strike price of $3, so the current share price is $3.35. So if you were going to buy a $3 put, which would be like our $100,000 house, the agreed upon price, you would have to pay a 15-cent premium. So in options contracts, it's always for 100 shares, so one contract is 100 shares, so it would be a $15 premium to buy a $3 put. So you would be hoping that by this Friday that the price would go under $3. So let's just say it went down to $2. You would buy, $200. Okay, say it goes down to $2. You would have a $1 for every 100 shares, so you'd have $100 minus the $15 premium you paid, and you would net $85 in that scenario. And that would be what you'd be wanting to happen when you're buying a put. Now, if you want to look at selling a put, you are hoping that the price either stays the same or maybe raises up. Either way would be good for you. So if you were looking at, let's say, a $3 put as well, so you're going to sell a $3 put, you would get $10 in premium, and you would hope that it would stay above $3. So if it stays at the $3.35, the contract will expire worthless. You get to keep your $10 premium. That's the best